Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wybot, and welcome to another tanking tutorial video of sorts here. So, today we're going to be taking a look at Paladin Tanking, and for that I've got my main here, Tabano. This is the character I've been playing with ever since WoW launched, and I've been tanking with him primarily since, oh my goodness, since Burning Crusade, I believe. So, it's been a while. Before that, in my opinion, Paladin Tanking was not a viable option. I've heard some of my coworkers talking about kind of using Seal of Command to try to keep aggro, but yeah, I don't believe we had a taunt until then. Until Burning Crusade, rather. And then they took away our awesome taunt, which just taunted everything off of a person, rather than just taunting monsters. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get started with the basics here. Righteous Fury. It needs to be up all the time, otherwise you will not keep threat. Once you keep threat, stuff will... Once you get this up, rather, everything will stick to you like glue. And you have amazing AoE damage potential here as a Paladin. And also, I'd recommend having Blessing of Might up at all times, or the Mastery buff equivalent if you're in a raid or a group where somebody else has already done that. What you'll want to do for pulling is you'll want to use Avenger Shield, Captain America Shield here. It does not generate holy power, but it does do significant damage. If you get the Grand Crusader proc, like I just did, it will generate one charge of holy power. To generate holy power primarily, you'll want to use Crusader Strike. You'll want to use Judgment. If it's an AoE situation, you'll want to use Hammer of the Righteous instead of Crusader Strike. So anyway, Crusader Strike and Hammer of the Righteous sure cooldown. I've also talented into Holy Wrath here, so that I can get some additional holy power out of it. The abilities that consume holy power are Shield of the Righteous and Eternal Flame. And since I did my research on Icy Veins, I didn't actually clue into this before, but there is some synergy here, which I probably should have noticed. You get a debuff called Bastion of Glory. That shows up, it can go up to 5 times here, and that'll buff the healing from Eternal Flame. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to get that up to maximum here for you guys, just cycle through my rotation here, just building up holy power, consuming it on Shield of the Righteous here. And I'll throw down my Light's Hammer just for the hell of it. It heals and it does damage to AoE. It's probably not the most viable for raiding. Probably Execution Sentence is better, but it certainly does the job, and it certainly helps out the healers. Alright, so I've got it up to charge of 5 there for Bastion of Glory. So I've got 3 holy power, so I'll consume that. And that'll last for 30 seconds, and you're supposed to be able to, according to Icy Veins at least, you should have enough holy power generation to go ahead and just get this thing, get Bastion of Glory back up to 5 charges within the 30 seconds here, but we'll see. It should almost always be able to be up, according to them. I question that, but I may just not be good enough. I suppose that's the case, actually. You can get it up and then be down for like 15 seconds or so. With other better talents, you could do that. Now, something to keep in mind with Bastion of Glory. If you only have 1 charge of holy power, it's going to last all of 10 seconds. Now let's go over defensive cooldowns really quickly before we jump into combat. The most famous / notorious one is Divine Shield. As a tank, you pretty much never want to use this, because it will cause the boss to go for somebody else. So this would be good in LFR if your other tank is being stupid and refuses to tank switch with you. You can force them to tank switch. If you've got too much, if you've got too many abilities that are going to like kill you, too many debuffs caused by the boss, then I would recommend using this. But once again, use it with extreme caution, because you can really screw your raid over with this, and in dungeons, pretty much just don't use it. Argent Defender, this ability is kind of like a last stand of sorts. It reduces damage taken by 10 seconds, and if, while this debuff is active, if you get enough damage to kill you, it'll bring you back at 12% health, so this would be really good for raiding situations. In dungeons, hopefully it never gets to that, but in a raid, you can definitely get healed right back up to full health by panic healing from your raid there. And Guardian of Ancient Kings, this ability right here, is your big damage reduction cooldown. So this right here reduces all damage taken by 50% for 8 seconds. And I've talented and glyphed into Divine Protection to change it from 40% magical damage reduced to 20% magical and physical damage reduced for 8 seconds. And also the talent for reducing the cooldown has caused it to be 30 seconds instead of a minute. Anyway, that's my setup. And also, I guess, Hand of Sacrifice is handy. It transfers damage from somebody else over to you, and you can also glyph into it, as I have, to no longer redirect damage to the Paladin, so that is helpful. Anyway, let's jump into Dungeon here, and I'll show you some of these abilities in action. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Occamdune, late in the expansion, which means we've got really overgeared DPS! Which means the trash packs last about 15 seconds before they die, so I can't even start explaining on this one. I will try explaining on the other two, and we will see how that goes. So, for AoE... Yeah, so for AoE fights here, for groups of trash... Well, first off, Paladins have always been the best AoE tanks, at least in my opinion. I know it was a matter of fact back in Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King days. I think a lot of other characters, a lot of other classes, rather, have pretty good setups for AoE tanking here, but we'll go over how Paladin does it. As you can see, I pulled with Avenger's Shield there. Then you want to swap out your Crusader Strike for Hammer of the Righteous, which is the big AoE Paladin Holy Power Builder. You want to drop Consecrate if you can. I didn't have a chance there. If you've talented into the AoE Hammer like I have, then go ahead and drop it. And right now I'm just running over to get the quest item, and the dungeon is busy RPing, so that's no big deal for my group. As you can see, he's just leaping on over right there, and I immediately pull him with Avenger's Shield, and we get into the fight. So, anyway, the AoE rotation for this is very similar. You just swap out Hammer of the Righteous or Crusader Strike. You make sure you drop Consecrate. You make sure Holy Wrath has a higher priority, and that's pretty much it. Just use your AoE abilities instead. It's not that difficult. Paladins are extremely good at AoE tanking. And I also believe that Holy Shield helps you out quite a bit there as well. I think it redirects some damage. And since there isn't enough time to explain any sort of boss fights here, I've decided to explain two, but once again, the damage meter is going off the charts for our Hunter and our Shaman here, so Terrankor is going to be dead before I even have a chance to do anything except laugh. The only thing I have a chance to do is stop laughing at how fast it's going, so we're going to try something different in a sec here, okay? Archimond! The toughest boss in the goddamn expansion! I think we might be able to explain a few things with a fight with him in the background. So, this is footage from a video that I did previously, my successful Archimond run that I also posted on YouTube. You can find it on my channel. And yeah, as you can see, it's a little older, because my shoulders are different, if you're paying attention. But anyway, let's go through the fight here. So, as usual, you pull with Shield of the Righteous, or, oh my god, Avenger's Shield. There's too many shields, guys. It's the Captain America shield, alright? It's the one that shoots out and bounces around if there's multiple enemies. And if Grand Crusader procs, please use it. It'll give you holy power. Use Crusader Strike as often as it's up. Use Judgment as often as it's up. And use Shield of the Righteous to dump that holy power. If you get a certain amount of charges of Bastion. I believe 5 charges of Bastion, I was saying earlier. I'm filming footage on different days here, folks, so just bear with me. You get 5 charges of Bastion, then go ahead and drop Word of Glory once you've got 3 charges of Holy Power up on it, and that would work out fantastically. Of course, I do not do this in most of this fight, and you don't have to. Mostly what you gotta do, make sure the stuff is hitting you, and make sure that you're taking as little damage as possible. That's tanking 101. So honestly, that's what you should be worrying about. And also in raid tanking, please make sure to get your other tank on focus. It makes things so much easier for the entire raid, because then you'll know when the other tank is taking a lot of damage, and also what's causing that damage. And if it's a boss mechanic that requires a tank switch, then you really should take the fucking tank switch. That's extremely important, because otherwise you're failing your raid and the tank might die. And yes, we do have battle reses, but we only have so many of them, so if things don't go well, you could be down to 1 tank and then no tanks, and that would be bad. So yeah, once again, go through the same rotation I showed you before. Holy Crusader Strike as often as you can, Judgment as often as you can, Shield of the Righteous I would say as often as you can. If you know there's a big damage ability coming in within the next few seconds, then maybe save it for that, but otherwise just drop it right away, I would say, because it overall it just decreases the damage you take for a certain number of seconds, which is always good. And in areas of high damage, you can drop you can use Argent Defender if you think you're about to die. You can, I would say, if you've set up Divine Protection the way I have, just use that as you see fit, since it's only got a 30-second cooldown, the way I've glyphed and talented into it. And, oh my goodness, the one that summons an angel. That big cooldown, I forget the name, bear with me. Guardian of Ancient Kings, that's the one that cuts your damage that you take in half for like 7 or 8 seconds here. Yes, indeed, 8 seconds on a 3-minute cooldown. I've got my cheat sheet up now. So, hopefully no more messing with the ability names here, folks. My apologies, I do actually know what I'm talking about. So yeah, you go through that stuff, and yeah, use those as needed. And also, a small little thing that I have on my on number 9 on my bar, lay on hands. If you see that the other tank's about to die, use it on them. If you see that you're about to die, use it on yourself. If some other high value target's about to die that you can use it on, then go ahead and use it. And apart from that, you should be good. I mean, I'm basically showing you the hardest boss in the entire expansion here, and how to tank him, so hopefully, well, actually not true, not the hardest version of this boss, the hardest boss for casuals. That's what I will say. Yes, I know, it might be a dirty word, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead now, and I don't think we need to see the rest of this here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump on over to the trials here for those of you who are interested in learning how to beat the Paladin Tanking trials, which, as you saw, are, or as you saw in the dungeons there, they're kind of ridiculously easy now. You need to hold the boss's attention for maybe 30 seconds, and then you can just go ahead and you can let the DPS just rip him to shreds. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump over to those right now. For those of you who are not interested in seeing that, thank you very much for watching this video. Oh yes, in Archimonde's fight there, this little block right here will save your ass, so try to make sure that those stupid Void Stars knock your ass into that, if that is the case. And in the meantime, guys, if you're not interested in seeing the rest of the video, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Please subscribe if you like my videos. For the rest of you, just a sec. Alright folks, welcome to the wonderful world of tanking trials here. So, this, right now, will be the hardest dungeon you will ever go into at this point in the expansion. It is the Silver Tanking Trial. Actually, that's not true. The gold one's probably harder, but I've never touched the bloody thing because I don't have to and I don't want to. So, welcome back to Pandaria. Welcome back to the Temple of the White Tiger. We were promised something different. They did not deliver, but they did make us go through this, and they still make us go through this to prove our basic competency as tanks. Which basically means that we have to be geared enough. And yes, these are the hardest of the 3 trials. I've tried the healer one, it is a lot easier. This one is quite frustrating anyway, though. That's what I'm here to talk to you about, not to complain about. So, going through probably the first 6 waves or so, it's not too terribly difficult. Please don't use your cooldowns if you can avoid it. Yeah, I was using AoE abilities right here, and yeah, I was having some trouble there. So you go through your AoE DPS rotation, so use Grand Crusader whenever it procs and go ahead and shoot out Avenger's Shield. Use Hammer of the Righteous as often as humanly possible. Pop up that Shield of the Righteous as often as you can so that you take less damage, because these little bastards hurt you a lot. Or at least they can. These guys right here, the large snaky dudes there, they're not too much trouble. The flame callers, however, they are a big problem. These little guys here, not a huge problem, but the larger ones, Chaincast Pyroblast, which hits you for a lot of damage. So, given how low the cooldown on Divine Protection actually is here, I would consider possibly turning off my glyph for that, and then just reserving it for just chain usage on these guys. That might help quite a bit, actually, if you're a paladin, which I did not do that during this, but that's something to consider I just thought of. So anyway, here's the large flame caller. Go ahead, use your interrupts as often as you can. Rebuke is your interrupt. I usually just set it to the Shift 3 key, but put it wherever you like, whatever is best for your setup. So use Rebuke as often as you can. Use your Paladin stun ability. Hammer of Wrath, or... No, it's not Hammer of Wrath. It's some sort of hammer ability. And I'm not going to look it up. You know which one's the Paladin stun. So, we just continue on here. This wave right here, not that difficult again. The flame callers do put fire all over the floor. I usually recommend not using it unless you can do so safely, because usually you'll take as much damage as the trash will, and that's just not helpful. It's counterproductive. So, yeah, and some of these waves here, once things get later on, stuff comes in 2 packs. So you need to keep that in mind. And yeah, so far things are going pretty smoothly. Nothing too terribly difficult. Yeah, this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting. Dealing with the wind guards. These guys hit like a Mack truck. You have a couple of options with these guys. These barriers that are set up around Sequoia. You can use those like I just did there to make sure that you do not get blown away really, really far away. Alternatively, you can get blown away really, really far away by these guys, and you can simply let them get up to Sequoia, maybe hit her 1 or 2 times, and then taunt them off of her, and they can just wander on down to you while Sequoia beats the living crap out of them, and you can just kiting them. Basically is what that is. It's kiting them. You can kite them around a bit, and you can have them not do damage to either you or Sequoia for a few seconds at least. And now we're on to the phase where things get interesting. The second last part of this fight, second last wave. So we've got a large illusionary wing guard, which once again they hit like a truck. We've got the basic little lizard man here who's not too much trouble, and we've got the small illusionary flame caller, which not as dangerous but still very problematic, and you probably want to focus on him getting him down as quickly as possible, especially since he's a lot squishier than the wing guard here. So, yeah, try to get these guys down as fast as possible. Thankfully, you are not required to have superb DPS in this particular trial. Your job is to take damage and mitigate damage as much as possible. Sequoia's job is to heal and do damage, which, Liz, if you're listening, please give us an actual group next time the way the healers got one. I know it might not be the greatest, but I would much rather have a dedicated healer and dedicated DPSers as opposed to just having one character that does both at once. So anyway, we're on to the final phase here. This is where you want to pop all your cooldowns as needed. Argent Defender if things get really hairy. Definitely you want to drop Guardian of Ancient Kings if you're going to be taking a whole crap ton of damage. They'll cut your damage in half. They'll be very helpful. And for this guy right here, you want to make sure that you're using every last little trick in the book you can to avoid as many of those pyroblasts as possible. You want to keep everything off of Sequoia, which I'm having a bit of trouble with here. Also, Lay on Hands is a lifesaver at this point. If you find that you're getting really low on health, don't worry about using Lay on Hands. This is one of the tools in the Paladin toolbox. So go right ahead and use it, and that's pretty much it here. So I am fairly overgeared for this fight, and frankly, I recommend that you be overgeared as well if you're at this point in the expansion. I mean, gear's easy enough to get. You just run through LFR a little bit. Definitely if you've got a good setup of like 350 gear, you should be able to get, or 350? Yeah, no. How about 650? 650 item level gear, you should be able to get through this no problem if you're following pretty much the basic idea of what I've been doing here. I know I found these trials to be a real pain in the ass compared to the actual dungeons, which is very frustrating, but anyway, if you just follow what I've been doing there, it may take a few attempts to actually get through it, but yeah, you should hopefully have no problem, especially at this point in the expansion where you can get gear to outgear the place rather quickly. Anyway, guys, that pretty much does it for this particular video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you didn't enjoy it, you can give it a thumbs down if you want. And if you do want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I put out semi-regular World of Warcraft stuff, and I do a lot of Let's Plays for Civilization games, pretty much, and a little bit for City Skylines as well. So, thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.